two things in front of us today. The first one is from Legacy Sign Group. Petitioner.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So this is on behalf of Horizon Bank, right?
We can check.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Just this bank. Photoshopping. That's fine.
Good evening. I'm Todd Etzler. I'm General Counsel with Horizon Bank. This evening I have Sean O'Brien with Legacy Signs also. We are seeking your approval of variances that would permit the increase in size of our signs at the property on Lincoln Way and US 35. You're probably all familiar with that corner, and you may have seen the new types of signs that we have on our existing signs at other locations. We're asking for an increase in the size by essentially 2 feet in height. And we'll talk about the sign as a whole, and we'll talk about the reader board itself. The reader board itself is increasing from 2 feet to 4 feet. But the entire sign itself is increasing from about 7.5 feet to 9.5 feet. So that's the height difference on the sign. So we'll be moving the sign up on the building a bit, and then underneath it we'll be including the size of the increasing the size of the reader board. We understand and appreciate the staff report that we received earlier this week. We think that it's important to take a look at the impact of this change as a whole as you're out on the Highway 35 or on Indiana Avenue or walking down the sidewalks, as opposed to just looking at the reader board itself. The total size is 12 feet 10 inches wide, and as I said, it'll be going from 7.5 feet to 12 feet, or to 9.5 feet. The increase in size is visually minimized because it's tucked underneath the existing sign, and we need to look at the reader board in conjunction with the sign itself, but also with the massing that goes on with the rest of the building. This is a building that has very few architectural distinctions to it. It's a red brick building on both walls, so it's a matte of red brick for a smaller sign. What I passed out this evening is the existing sign that you see there with a reader board that has yellow LEDs, and it has a changeable message on it. You're not able to have images on that sign. On the second document that you see that I passed out this evening, you'll see the comparison with that first vision of the massing of the sign. And if you look closely, you'll see it doesn't have a very large impact when you consider the mass of the building that it's on, and the fact that the sign is being moved up by a couple feet, and the changes at the bottom of the sign. You'll also see on the as proposed drawing that when you're at the specific location of this location and other places in the intersection, that you're able to see a large portion of both sides of the building. So it has really taken that mat that's behind one side, and it's really doubled the size of that. When you look at it from the outside, people will not notice that there's a 2-foot difference because of the size of the building versus the size, the minimal increase in the size of the sign itself. The adjacent areas will not be substantially adversely affected because there's been a reader board in this location for many years. The community and people in the downtown area are used to looking up for not only offerings of Horizon Bank, but also community information that is provided on that reader board. This will provide a better looking, higher quality visual view than the existing reader board, which when it was put up, I'm sure was the top of its technology at the time. We've gotten better. And I think that if you look at the types of signs throughout the community, when they've gone from these single color reader boards to the LED that we're showing on this sign, that it's visually an improvement from that type of signage. As we go forward, Horizon's messages will be able to be better and more effectively conveyed to the general public. In addition, it's easier to read one of these. So if you happen to be driving past and are trying to compare a reader board with yellow LEDs and watch a message on there versus a much higher quality screen, you will be able to read the higher quality screen much better, pay, unfortunately, less attention, I guess, to it. At that time, you will have to focus on it less, but you'll get the message much easier. And the community expects to be able to view this type of offering. It's used to seeing this offering on this, and the message will not be conveyed as effectively or with this quality if we're not able to use this. We respectfully request approval of these variances to permit the sign improvement.
Thank you. I think at this point, should we do the staff presentation, please?
So item number 4, variance of development standards 24-06, petition to increase the size of 2 existing electronic message center or EMC wall signs from 24 square feet to 48 square feet for each wall sign. This property is located at the corner of 710 Indiana Avenue, or more commonly referred to as Lincoln Way and Indiana Avenue. The area in specific is the north corner of the intersection there where the 2 signs are located. As you see in the attached image here, staff went out and did a site visit on August 3rd in terms of getting views from the adjacent, on the other side of Indiana Avenue, as well as the adjacent intersection to the north on the opposite corner of the Horizon Bank at 710 Indiana Avenue. And then in addition, just, I think I have one more here, just from across Lincoln Way. So the parcel itself is zoned the Central Business District 1, or Downtown National Register zoning, or National Register Historic District. Historically, this property has been used as a commercial bank. And so statement of compliance, the Article 19 shall be met for the proposed wall signage. Section 19.06 D5 states that an EMC sign illuminated by light emitting diode or LED are not permitted within residential zoning districts or National Register historic districts and parcels adjacent thereto, this is one. In addition, the zoning ordinance only allows 1 EMC sign per business, as stated in Article 19. Thus, the variance request to increase the size of the existing sign that is currently continued to allowed to operate as that it is today. So the Board of Zoning Appeals will take into consideration decision criteria, of which there are 3. And I'll just go through those really briefly.
Yeah.
1, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, general welfare of the community, As I mentioned, this property is located along two major transportation routes in the community and also within the downtown LaPorte National Register Historic District. These existing EMC wall signs are considered non-conforming EMC wall signs per the current zoning ordinance. The proposed increase in the size of the two existing EMC wall signs from 24 square feet to 48 square feet would detract from the intent of Article 19 to maintain and enhance the physical appearance of the community by encouraging signs of a consistent size which are compatible with and complementary to related buildings and uses in downtown LaPorte and harmonious with their surroundings. 2, that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. This property is located within the National Register Historic District, which is established to enhance the visual aesthetic and quality of life of the community. This proposed size increase for the two EMC wall signs is not consistent with the intent of the zoning ordinance to maintain and enhance the physical appearance of the community by encouraging complementary sign sizes with their surroundings. And 3, that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The principal intent of the zoning ordinance for regulating commercial signs is for identification of the commercial establishment, not for advertising special events or brand names. The subject property may be used in a reasonable manner for identification of the commercial establishment according to the 2017 City of LaPorte Revised Joint Zoning Ordinance without approval of the requested variance to increase the size of the two existing EMC wall signs. Article 19 is intended to eliminate potential conflicts between business signs and traffic control signs, therefore minimizing the potential for confusing and hazardous consequences within the public right-of-way. And staff finds that the requested variance of development standards petition is not compliant with the 2017 City of LaPorte Revised Joint Zoning Ordinance and does not conform to the goals and policies of the countywide land development plan. The petitioner's request to allow the increase in size of the two existing EMC wall signs from 24 square feet to 48 square feet for each EMC wall sign is not appropriate for the location within the downtown LaPorte National Register Historic District. So staff recommends denial of the petitioner's request to allow the increase in the size of the two existing EMC wall signs from 24 square feet to 48 square feet for each of the EMC wall signs.
Okay, thank you, David. So at this point, we'll open it to any public comment. Does anybody have any questions, comments? You again.
I was going to say, I'll be brief. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. I was once told that if you speak twice in a public meeting, the second time it's just annoying, so. And I, normally I stand in front of you and the staff, both David and Craig, were generally in agreement on most things. I respect their opinion on this, but would have to disagree. I'm probably not the right person to speak to the sign itself and all of those things. I would just stress Horizon Bank, when they purchased the Porte Savings Bank, made a huge commitment to our downtown and obviously committed to stay in the downtown and utilize a building that I think is important to that landscape. They're also probably one of the most generous companies we have whenever we've asked them for assistance with anything, some of those being projects downtown. They always step up to the plate and provide help, and I know we appreciate that. The world we live in, these signs, they don't strike me as being uncommon in any way, and appreciate the information. I remember the discussion when the first sign variance was before this body, and I think the modernization of this sign makes a whole lot of sense and would be very supportive from my perspective, and appreciate you guys hearing me out.
Thanks, Bert.
Thank you.
Any further comment? Then we'll close that part of the meeting. So at this point, I guess I'll ask the board if they have any questions for either the applicant or the city.
So for the city, and obviously we've had, organizations come before the board, and we have approved signs, video signs, possibly bigger than this along Pine Lake. So what is specifically the difference between having all of these types of signs on Pine Lake but not being able to have them on Lincoln Way.
Yeah, so I can answer that really quickly. The key is, so LaPorte has a downtown design standards review committee established for that reason to not allow electronic message centers within the downtown LaPorte National Register Historic District. And they could request a variance through this process to be able to do that.
So the downtown design recommendations, when was the last time that was updated?
2004, 2011.
So it's been a while, and there's obviously been a lot of changes technology-wise since then.
But the sign that's already there, that it is electronic. So was that grandfathered in?
That's going to be my question.
It's an existing sign.
That predates my involvement,
Yeah.
but I would have to believe that that's the case.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, is looking a little dated. So that would be my comment.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Pete?
I think it's looking a little dated, so I can understand the need to modernise it.
Yeah,
a
I
little
mean,
bit.
if you look at the sign that's currently there compared to with what they have, I mean, from a design standpoint, I think it looks far better.
Aesthetically for
Yes.
the city, right?
If you're gonna have an electronic sign, let's have one that looks like it was created before or after I was born.
There you go.
In regards to the sign, now it's not gonna be moving video pictures, it's a static image.
It's definitely not going to be moving. So
Okay.
you're not going to see someone running across the 12 feet. But it will change
Oh,
during the
right,
day.
right.
And it's not going to flash, but it will be a static picture.
How often will it change?
How often do we expect it to change?
There's an ordinance that requires, I think it's seconds between messages.
Horizon's been very generous with their sign use to let nonprofits and other organizations use their sign for information. Does Horizon Bank, as the representative for Horizon here, still plan to have that philosophy for the community to use this new sign when they
We
see
do.
fit?
We do, yes.
Okay, thank you. So any other discussion, any other points that you'd like to raise?
I'll make a motion to approve the request as requested by Horizon Bank and the sign company.
I will second.
Okay, and then all those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So unanimously carried.
Thank you very much for your time.
That was a good call.
Okay, second item on the agenda. Quattro Laporte LLC. Do you have a petitioner? State your name and who you are,
Severin Kravchuk, address as well, or are we good?
please, yeah.
1421 West Chicago Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Just change the addresses, so it may have changed. I'm here representing Quattro Developments, project manager with them. We are working at developing Valvoline at 103 Warren Street, used to be 425 Pine Lake Avenue. To make this development feasible for us, our building fronts Pine Lake Avenue, and the frontage that we're trying to get reduced from 25 feet to 16.4 feet, about a 33% reduction, is right there at the south side. Our building's gonna be about 16 to 18 feet tall at that corner there. I believe we did a traffic study with Excel Engineering that proved to us that it seems still safe. You can still see around the corner there. And currently, the 25-foot setback creates a hardship on us building what we would like to on this property, which would add tax value to the city. And build our building, we need this variance.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. David, you want to give a little brief run through?
Yeah, so item number 5, variance of development standards 24-07 petition is to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 25 feet to 16 feet. This property is located at 103 Warren Street. As you can see on the overhead there, this particular development has already been through the Board of Zoning Appeals for the special exception use permit that was previously approved on September 12th, 2023. And there's been kind of a minor change to the site plan, as the specific access is just gonna come off Warren Street only. As you see, the two ingress and egress there off Warren. In addition to the landscaping standards that require between a residentially used property and commercial property, the proposed variance to reduction to 16 feet is appropriate for the particular lot itself. And staff does recommend approval of variance petition to allow the reduction in the minimum front yard setback from 25 feet to 16 feet. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you, David. Do we have any public comment? Then we'll close that part of the meeting. Any questions from the board to the city or the petitioner?
David, I have some questions. I know you guys talked about this, and I think you approved it in some regards before I was on the BZA, but I don't understand, or at least help me understand why it looks like the pull-through on the back end of this building, if I'm understanding the layout correctly, can be swapped to where you can still get your setback and have the pull-through at the on the Pine Lake Avenue side. Is that correct? I guess I don't understand the need for the setback, because it seems like you can still design this facility without that.
That might be a question for maybe the applicant can better understand that one,
Yeah, go ahead, come on up.
their
Yep.
building, yeah.
A couple of reasons that we've moved the entrance egress back onto Warren Street. NDOT had priority over Pine Lake Avenue, and given our conversations with them, if we had pulled that to the near side of the building and had flipped basically our fire escape and, your access for your dumpster enclosure over there, it was gonna be less safe for traffic standards on their side pulling in through there. The turn was a lot tighter for people, so this gave people time to drive in or stack up in traffic on Warren Street to get in or out of the site.
So the goal then, for you guys, anyway, is to get the traffic to the Warren Street side instead of having to pull in on Pine Lake Avenue?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
NDOT wouldn't allow them to, as an entrance.
Oh, NDOT wouldn't give you an entrance on?
On Pine
That is
Lake at all.
correct.
Okay,
We tried.
okay, thank you. That makes sense.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? And does
I'd
any,
like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
all those in favour?
Aye.
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 Carried unanimously. So, in terms of the meeting today, is there any other business? Then, do I have a motion to close?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.